Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fed News June 11th, 2024 edition, your fake figure wrestling news. And oh, you can see the brands are a-forming. A lot of changes happened, so let's get started. So the wrestling news, Giant Gonzalez has signed, Marcus Corvon has signed, and John Heidenreich has signed to the Ultimate Talent Pool. In talks currently are Buff Bagwell, Justin Credible, Canyon, Carmelo Hayes, Karrion Kross, Ricochet, and Raven are in talks right now, possibly joining the Ultimate Talent Pool. Now, Red Impact has been absorbed into Impact Blue to just become Impact. It's also going to be only 20-man roster there. The Dudleys have officially announced they are leaving. They're going to go join the NXT Minor League sometime in April. Now, of course, the NWA has also been moved to the Ultimate banner, so now there's another Ultimate brand. This is, of course, 30 wrestlers, and the wrestlers from the old NWA are now back in the WWC currently, for the time being, until further notice. So this week we had pay-per-views galore as the WWE started with the Superstar Spectacle, as Velocity would take place with the Usos defeating Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins by pinfall, and LA Knight would defeat The Fiend by pinfall in the main event of Velocity. Over on the pay-per-view, though, Imperium would defeat Spirit Squad, that's Johnny, Mike, and Mitch, against Gunther, Giovanni, and Ludwig. EC3 would defeat Jason Jordan by pinfall. Kenny Dykstra would defeat Matt Morgan by pinfall after the help of the Spirit Squad interfering in the no disqualification match. The Gemini retained their titles over the Hardy Boys. Booker T would defeat Jinder Mahal to be the United States champion, or to retain it, and Batista actually would become the WWE Undisputed Champion after being Triple H for the belt. WWF also had a pay-per-view this week as In Your House took place with Heat with Rico and Kevin Von Erich versus Rhythm and Blues, ending a double DQ. In the main event, seeing Iron Sheik defeat Billy Graham by pinfall. Then Val Venus would go on to defeat Razor Ramon, Mankind, and Roddy Piper to win the Intercontinental Championship. Virgil defeats the Big Boss Man to win the Hardcore Championship. Kerry Von Erich defeats Zeus in a one-on-one contest. Owen Hart defeats King Kong Bundy by countout to retain his European Championship. And LOD defeats Money Incorporated to become the WWF Tag Team Champions. The main event, which was a fatal four-way, would see Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat Psycho Sid, Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart by pinfall to become the WWF Heavyweight Champion. Over to Nitro this week. No, it wasn't a pay-per-view, but they decided that they were also going to hold some matches. Thunder would have Demolition defeat Drew Gulak, George Steele, and Stephen Richards by pinfall. The main event would see Jimmy Wang Yang defeat David Otunga by pinfall. Over on the main show, as the Fashion Police picked up a win over the Street Profits. Randy Savage defeated Ricky Steamboat, Sean O'Haire, and Drew McIntyre by pinfall to become the #1 contender. The Junkyard Dog also defeats the Great Muta by pinfall. And in the main event, Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler, title versus title. Goldberg would defeat Dolph to not only retain his United States Championship, but also become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He would then vacate the United States title, and so stay tuned for what happens with that belt. Right now, it is vacant. ECW held a show this week with a new formula where they're going to basically have, since they don't have a pre-show or a minor show card, they're just going to do 5 matches a week. So the Bashams defeated Matt Striker and Dino Bravo by pinfall. Akira Tozawa defeats Road Dogg Jesse James by pinfall. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston defeated Nikolai Volkov and Rick Martel by pinfall. The British Bulldog would defeat Scott Steiner by pinfall. And in the main event, Dean Ambrose would score a win over Roman Reigns by pinfall. NXT this week, as Paul Orndorff versus Tatanka would end in a time limit draw. Farouk would defeat Terry Funk by pinfall. The Islanders would debut and defeat Ted DiBiase and Elias by pinfall. Steve Macklin would defeat Damian Sandow by pinfall. The main event would see Finlay defeat Cesaro by pinfall. AEW also had a show this week as Darby Allin defeats Wheeler Yuta by pinfall. The Acclaim defeats Lucha Bros by pinfall. Dustin Rhodes defeats MJF by pinfall. Ricky Starks defeats Buddy Matthews by pinfall. And the main event would see Brody King defeat Wardlow by pinfall. Nothing on ROH this week. However, the minor league would crown champions as MVP would win a 6-man match over Rikishi, Mustafa Ali, Santos Escobar, Rick Steiner, and Eli Dragunov by pinfall. Braun Strowman would retain his title by defeating Omos for the United Kingdom Championship. Karrion Kross defeats Bronson Reed by submission. This comes up after the after the news of him possibly leaving to go to the Ultimate, as he is being currently scouted. Sheamus and Ridge Holland defeated Alpha Academy, MSK, and Judgment Day of Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest to win the NXT World Tag Team titles. And the main event would see Ricochet defeat Carmelo Hayes to retain his title by pinfall, despite both men showing interest in leaving the company. NWA kicked off its first week with 4 titles to be decided. The NWA World Championship will still be decided at their first pay-per-view coming up at a later date to be announced. But Michael Hayes defeats Rick Rude by pinfall for the NWA Television Championship. Shelton Benjamin defeats Mr. Kennedy, Jack Swagger, and John Bradshaw Layfield by pinfall to win the NWA United States Championship. TJ Perkins defeated Tajiri and Yoshitatsu by pinfall to win the NXT X Division Championship. And Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki defeated Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio, Mark Jindrak, and Luther Reigns in a triple threat match by pinfall to win the NWA World Tag Team titles. The main event would see Sting defeat Ric Flair, Daniel Bryan, and Mr. Perfect by pinfall. It will be Sting versus CM Punk at the pay-per-view for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Over to IWGP as they held a show. Despite the fact losing so many talent on their roster, it would be a small 4-man tournament as Vito defeats Shannon Moore in the first round to advance. Wrath would defeat Psychosis by pinfall in the first round to advance. Alex Riley debuted in defeating Eugene by pinfall. Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde defeat Scotty Riggs and Mike Knox by pinfall to win the IWGP Tag Team Championship. The Great Khali would also debut and defeat Alex Riley after Alex bragged about being undefeated. And Vito would defeat Wrath by pinfall to win the IWGP US title. The main event would see Snitsky defend his title over Bill DeMott by pinfall. Nothing on Impact this week. The UWF, nor TNA, nor AAA, nor the AWA, or ROH, or World Wrestling Council, as they will be starting up next year. That's all for this week. Stay tuned to check back again as more exciting news and more debuts coming, as well as the fallout from the pay-per-views that you've just seen. Until next time.